For Mets and Cubs, any semblance of rivalry rooted in summer of '69 to those who experienced it. The pennant race in 1969 between the New York Mets and Chicago Cubs is the starting point for any encounter between the two teams. Leo Durocher's heavily favored Cubs raced out to an 11-1 start and led the Mets, who'd never won anything or even finished better than ninth, by 9 games in the middle of August. But the iconic moments that followed a Mets team, powered by young pitching, that caught fire and crushed a veteran team filled with stars, has echoes in the 2015 team. Tom Seaver / Kerry Koosman / Garrett Gentry memories flowing effortlessly into Matt Harvey / deGrom / Noah Syndergaard. And there are Cubs fans who will swear that 1969, with prime Ron Santo and Billy Williams and Ferguson Jenkins and still productive Ernie Banks, was the very best chance they ever saw, with apologies to Lee and Durham and Kerry Wood, to end the 107-year World Series drought on the north side of Chicago. But a survey of Cubs and Mets figures gathered at Citi Field in advance of Saturday's Game 1 of the National League Championship Series indicates that however much the Black Cat running across the Cubs dugout during a September game at Shea remains in the public memory, the Mets and Cubs aren't thinking much about it. 1969. People in this room weren't even born in 1969, Mets manager Terry Collins said when the subject came up. Back then, Collins was in the midst of setting the Steel's record at Eastern Michigan, and on the cusp of leading his team to a 1970 national championship. I was trying to graduate from college. I don't remember any races at that particular time. I have no idea. Believe me, that was the '60s. I was worried about going to war more than anything else. War was very much on the mind of Mets general manager Sandy Alderson at that time as well. He'd just completed his degree at Dartmouth and had shipped out to Vietnam by the fall of 1969. Nevertheless, thousands of miles from home, the World Series triumph of Cleon Jones and Don Clendenon found its way to Alderson, or more accurately, Alderson sought it out. The only thing I recall about the postseason in 1969 is that I was stationed at Quantico taking Marine training at the time, and the field radios that we used, they were called PRC-25s, could pick up the audio from the television broadcasts, Alderson said. So a few of us would go out in the bush and hide and listen to the games. I don't recall listening to a Mets-Cubs game, but later in the postseason. But that's my only memory. I was kind of cooped up in the Quonset hut at the time. Alderson and Collins are a bit older than Collins' counterpart in the Cubs dugout, Joe Maddon, a Hazleton Pod, 15-year-old at the time. Maddon lived within broadcast reach of the Mets' television partner, WW, and put aside his Cardinals fan allegiances to enjoy the Miracle Mets. New York took over first place for good September 10. the day after the Black Cat paused at the mouth of the Cubs dugout during the first inning of a 7-1 loss to the Mets. From September 3 to October 2, they turned a 5-game deficit to the Cubs into a stunning 8-game lead in the first year of divisional play, then swept the Atlanta Braves in 3 games and defeated the Baltimore Orioles in 5 games to win their first World Series championship.